Good.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
What does your name mean, Swatika?
So Swati in Swatika has three different meanings, sir.
Okay.
Firstly, it is it's my birth star. It is one of the 27 stars in Indian
Okay.
astrology, sir. Secondly, there is a reference to pearl formation from the raindrop during that star, sir. So it's considered as excellence. And thirdly, it is considered as very strong-willed in reference to the chartered bird which waits for raindrop during that star, sir.
Very good. Very nicely said. Excellent. So good. What is your engineer?
Yes, sir.
Are you still working or
Yes, sir.
same company?
Sir, I've changed companies. Since January this year, I'm working for a company called Rafiki.ai.
Okay. So are you interested? You are getting a large number of extracurricular interests. Huge number. Which is the primal interest of all the things we have mentioned?
The primal interest and something that I can do all the time is painting, sir.
Yeah.
You have mentioned about Tanjore paintings. What
Yes,
is the
sir.
specific quality of a Tanjore painting?
So the very special characteristic of Tanjore painting is its gold foil usage and semi-precious stones. So it is considered as a royal art patronized by Tanjore Marathas. So it is about the exquisiteness of the paintings.
Mysore also, they have Mysore kingdom also, they have similar paintings. What are they?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is the difference? What is the difference between Tanjore painting and Mysore painting?
Yes, sir. Though they both use gold foil and both are religious paintings, there are certain differences like Tanjore painting is a embossed painting. It has a three-dimensional quality, whereas Mysore painting is a flat painting, sir. It is two-dimensional. That's the major difference.
Very good. That's right. What is your hometown?
So I'm from Coimbatore.
Coimbatore.
Yes, sir.
It is called Kongunadu.
Yes, sir. It's part of Kongunadu.
Which is Kongunadu then?
So Kongunadu is an ancient kingdom during the Sangam period. It comprised of the western parts of Tamil Nadu, even some parts of Kerala, Karnataka, even it extended till the Tulunadu areas. So it is a larger portion.
Which portion of Karnataka was included in the Kongunadu?
Sir, it had regions like Mysore and Chamrajnagar, and it even went till Tulunadu. Tulunadu is the Konkani speaking area, sir, which is
upper Kannada districts of Karnataka. Tulunadu, Kannada district. Upper Kadi, the Udupi, Mangalore.
South Canara, North Canara.
North Kannada, Kannada district.
yes, sir.
Okay. So
Thank you.
that's true. You are familiar with Kannada language?
Sir, I stayed in Bangalore for 5 years, sir. So I understand a little, sir. But however, Bangalore is such a place that people from all language are there. Everyone knows Tamil too, and I didn't get an opportunity to study the language.
Okay. We call it Panchagauda and Panchadravida languages. Indian linguistic pattern is divided into Panchadravida and Panchagauda. Do you know them? Are you aware of it?
No, sir. Sorry, sir. I'm not aware about it.
Okay. Now, Panchagauda languages are Maithila, Gauda, that is spoken, and Magadhi are those things. Panchadravida, Dravida is Tamil.
Okay.
Then Utkala, these are then Devarashtra, which is now called Maharashtra, Andhra, and this thing. And the Kannada language was not at that time born when the division came. So it's slightly later division. Right. It's called Panchadravida. And Dravida is not a ethnic signa. It is a linguistic state, but unfortunately, in course of time due to political things, it has got a ethnic stamp. It's not ethnic. Dravida is a linguistic division. Okay.
Thank you for that.
Since you are familiar with this Kannada area, We talk about female warriors, queens, fighters. Can you mention any female warriors or fighters or the queens who had a significant victory against the foreigners or invaders from Karnataka? In fact, we talk only about North Indians like Lord Jhansi Rani, Ahalya Bai, like that. Anybody in South India, especially in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu?
Yes, sir. Sir, in Tamil Nadu, we have. So during the Polygar War, one of the queens of the Polygar king, I'm not able to recollect her exact
Which
name.
area? Which area of Tamil Nadu?
So it is in the Ramanathapuram, Madurai area, sir. She fought along with Dheeran Chinnamalai.
Velu Nachiyar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Velu Nachiyar, sir. And similarly in Karnataka.
Area called Kalayarkoil. There was a war like that. Karnataka?
There is Rani Chennamma Devi, sir, who also fought against British.
But who is the first lady warrior who fought against foreign invasion in India? Very first.
Sir, as far as I know, Polygar War preceded even, it was around 1750s. So it is said that Polygar War was the initial conflict. And therefore, Rani Velu Nachiyar can be the first one, sir, but I'm not exactly sure, sir.
The first lady warrior who fought and defeated Rani Najaraj was Rani Abbakka Devi. Okay. Abbakka Devi of Abbakka Devi of what you call Sunday Udupi area.
Okay.
The Tulu kingdom. She had several fights, the naval fights with the Portuguese and defeated the Portuguese.
Okay, sir.
Rani Abbakka Devi. She was the most famous. She was ruling from Mangalore Udupi area. She could defeat the Portuguese, and she also formed an alliance with Sultan of Bijapur and the Zamarin of Calicut. So they defeated comprehensively in 3 battles. They defeated the Portuguese. Unfortunately, her own husband, Sinappa or somebody, so he betrayed her and joined with the Portuguese. And the Zamarin's commander-in-chief, while returning, he was killed. And this lady was imprisoned. She died in about 50 years of age in prison. Then later her daughter, she took over. She continued the fight against the Portuguese. She was the first major warrior against the thing. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll read more about her.
Yeah, because the lady, this is something, but you are from this area also.
Yes,
so wrote about Abbakka. That's like that thing. There was also in Karnataka, so 2-3 warriors were there. Velu Nachiyar is in Tamil Nadu. And there was a very servant maid in the Chitradurga fort called Vanaka Ubala.
Okay.
The Chitradurga king, the Muslim invasion came from the Bijapur Sultan. Yeah. So they were not able to gain entry, like Troy. They were not able to get entry into Bijapur fort, this Chitradurga fort. Okay. So one of the, again, the story of betrayal. They betrayed it. One of the king's servants betrayed a secret path through which the army can enter into the fort. So there is a servant maid called Wabala. So there is one that road which only one man can come through. So the soldiers were coming one by one. So this lady was hiding a Olakai in hand. So whenever some head was seen, she hit it on the head. That fellow died. So hundreds of soldiers were eliminated. So she was known as Valaka Ubala. So
thank you.
History. So you are interested in sports?
Sir, I've been watching Olympics recently, sir, but I didn't participate in any sports.
Not do I. Only theoretical interest. When is the first Olympics? The earliest time of Olympics, when did it come?
The first official game of Olympics was in 1886, sir. It
Are you
was
sure?
in.
No, the Olympics started in the BCE.
Okay.
Where did it start?
So it started from Athens in Greece, sir.
Greece, okay. What is the motto of Olympics?
So it is those 5 different rings placed in a different
That
format.
is not a motto, that is the insignia. What are the
Okay.
five circles justify? What do they indicate?
Sir, I'm not sure of that, sir. Surely I'll
So
read
it
more.
refers to the 5 continents.
Okay, sir.
But that is not the motto. The
Okay.
motto of Olympics, it is in the Athenian times, Athens, called Citius, Altius, and Fortius. Citius, Citius. Citius means faster. Altius means taller. Fortius means stronger. These are the three games, type of game which is practiced there. So then after Greece was taken over by Rome, it stopped. Then 1896, not 1886, 1896, Baron de Coubertin, a lord, he started the new Olympics. Then in the initial Olympics, there are also fine arts, painting, singing, they were also there. But then by 1948, it stopped with the games. Who is the first lady, first person who got the medal in the Olympics? First man and first woman in the modern Olympics in India, from India.
So from India, India participated in 1900, the second Olympic edition, sir. And the first person to get the award was Norman Pritchard, who was a British Indian.
Yeah, there. Most of them were British. Who is the first Indian who got?
So first Indian in the team events, we started getting in the hockey, sir. Indian men started participating.
1928. 1928 onwards. Okay.
Yes, sir. But
But individual
the first
event,
one,
sports, individual events.
so in the individual event in 1928, I guess, sir, it is by K.D. Jadhav in a sport called bantam weighting.
This is a wrestling competition.
Bantam wrestling, yes, sir.
Yeah, it is not 1920, it is 1952 Helsinki Olympics. They were moved in by several decades. 1952, which is the first woman who won.
The first woman was in 2000, Karnam Malleshwari got the first.
Very good, correct. So, the recent World Bank's projection of Indian growth rate projected for 1921-22.
Yes, sir.
How much is that?
Yeah. So World Bank projects 10.5% for India's growth. Sir.
Slightly overpitched, 9.5. Okay, 9.5.
Sorry. Sir.
So, yeah, matter. So, how do we propose to achieve that?
So,
you can give your own ideas. How will you do that?
Yes, sir. Sir, for recovery, we have to concentrate on both demand side as well as supply side. And there has been a lot of efforts in the supply side by the government also through Atmanirbhar packages and loan guarantee schemes. But the major problem now is the demand side, sir, because since almost 50% of our GDP is through consumption, so there is a need for boosting demand. And for that, we have to think about fiscal stimulus schemes, especially for the informal sector workers who contribute a large percentage of the employment. So we have to start with fiscal stimulus, and then our agriculture is having a higher production, sir, and exports are also leading. So we have to use this momentum and start doing more better in this, sir. And even FDIs are increasing. It has had a record growth of 82 billion. So we have to utilize these FDI and invest into productive employment. Sir.
Very good. Well done. So I think you are really excellent. I'm sure you are going to get through with a high rank. So now, Rudra, you want to continue?
Yes, certainly. Thanks.
Thank you. Sir. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning, Swatika. How are you? Oh, good afternoon, rather. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you can hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. tell me under what circumstances do you think corruption flourishes in a country?
So, corruption by Kautilyan philosophy, there is corruption in the country whenever the administration is lax, whenever there is no proper schemes of awards and rewards, there is no appreciation of the work, then people get demotivated and they start going for other opportunities like corruptions.
But don't you think that's a little theoretical? Tell me something which is more practical. Tell me something that relates to India today. Why do you think corruption in this country is so widespread?
So in present day India, corruption is widespread because it can also be said because of our economic model, which is a welfareist model. Sir. So it involves a lot of fund transfer to the lower level of public from the government. So there is a lot of leakage, and until recently there was no technology to track the movement of the funds. Sir. So there was no proper record keeping. So this created a lot of opportunities to siphon off the funds.
So do you think the coming of technology has made a difference?
So by technology, now there is a proper breadcrumb of the fund transfer. There is a chain of records that are being maintained. Sir. So it gives transparency and auditability. Sir. And there is a possibility of reduction in corruption through this.
You said there's a possibility. Does that mean you don't think it has actually gone down? Is yet to be utilized in an effective manner?
Yes, there is a possibility because despite all the technology, human mind is superior, and there is always a thought process to find out the loopholes in the process and utilize that opportunity. So, for example, despite the technology, there are fake Jan accounts being created and funds are transferred that way. So more efforts are needed.
Okay. Now, is it your feeling that the poverty in India itself has led to extensive corruption? Do you see that as a major reason, or are there other reasons as well?
So poverty can be one of the reasons, and added to that, lower salary and increasing inflation. All these can also be other possibilities.
What about the lack of education and awareness? Don't you think that was a major contributor?
So lack of education among the service beneficiaries probably, sir, because they did not understand their rights. They did not understand their claim towards the government services, and they bow down to corruption. That can be a reason, sir.
No. I'm talking about the lack of education among the people in general. Even now, I think we continue to have the largest number of illiterates in the world.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I was talking about their level of education and awareness. Not beneficiaries, because everybody is supposed to be a beneficiary in any case, should be a beneficiary,
yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you gave initially may not be the right thing. And I think maybe Chanakya's model doesn't suit us completely.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. I'll read more about it. Yes.
Okay. What do you understand by the term demographic dividend?
So demographic dividend is the opportunity, an economic opportunity when the working age population is higher than the dependent populations.
Okay. So what is the dividend of that?
So dividend is the economic opportunity because of larger population of working age people, sir, because they are very productive, they are in their prime time of economic activity. There is an opportunity to increase our production, increase our economic growth, and more savings, sir. And since dependent population is lesser, so there will be lesser expenditure on their needs.
So what has been the Indian experience with regard to this particular theory of demographic dividend?
So Indian experience, India has already started its journey towards demographic dividend. We have currently 60% of the population who are working age, And it is said that our window closes at 2040. So until then, we have an opportunity to reap the benefits from it, sir. And we have taken efforts towards better education, better skilling opportunities, and employment opportunities, sir.
Okay. Meanwhile, the grey population in India is also increasing, since longevity is now more than it was at any time in the past.
So sorry, sir, I'm not able to. Understand.
Okay. See, the number of people who are referred to as grey, senior citizens,
Okay, sir.
over 60, that is also increasing steadily
Yes, sir.
because of better health, nutrition, longevity, etc.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Of course, sir. There is currently 8.6% of our population are the elder population. However, their proportion is lesser than the working age people, sir. So that even when they are in their elderly age, there is working age people to support them as well, sir.
Okay, but don't you think that on a systematic basis, something should be done to look after people who are in their 70s and 80s and may not have children or close relations to look after them? Are you satisfied with the conditions in India for that?
So yes, sir. There needs to be systemic changes related to that, sir. Because currently we are having a more migrant population, so parents are left behind, and children migrate to other cities. So in that case, we have to think about maintenance and all the healthcare of the elderly population, and also there is more need for a secured community for the elderly in order with all the ecosystem healthcare and their demands being met within an ecosystem, sir.
Has any legislation been issued with the intention of protecting older people?
So yes, sir, there is the maintenance of parents and maintenance of parents act, sir, and that ensures that children support their parents in their elder age. There are also schemes like old age pension scheme by the government for the poor people, sir.
Okay, so has the act you're talking about actually been enforced? Are there any cases that have been heard and tried where senior citizens were neglected by perhaps their own children? What action is taken in such cases?
So, sir, I'm not exactly sure of the punishment provisions in that act, sir. I will surely read about it.
No, I was not asking about punishment provisions.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I was not clear. I meant now that the legislation has been issued, have any cases actually been heard in any courts where somebody has complained saying that they were neglected by their children or that their property was taken away by force by their children and that therefore they are in a condition of extreme poverty?
Yes, sir. There are instances of these cases where the court gives order that the children have to support. They have to give a monthly support to the parents, sir.
So these such orders have actually been issued by the courts and are they being enforced?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Let me come to something different. That is, can you tell me something about the positive aspects and the negative aspects of social media? Social media seems to be ruling the roost these days. So I thought you could give me some ideas about this.
So positive aspects of social media is that it has helped in reducing the distance among people. Secondly, it has helped greatly in information exchange. And thirdly, it has helped in mobilization of people, which is very fundamental for a vibrant democracy, sir. But it also has negative aspects, like there are people who misuse it and spread misinformation. Fake news campaigns are happening, sir. Secondly, there is also cyber attacks, especially on women, with very objectionable material posted in social media, sir. And thirdly, a lot of fraudulent cases, again related to women, um, by anonymity, by due to anonymity, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I wish you all the very best. I think you should do
Excellent.
really well in the
You
first.
did very well. Swatika,
Yes, sir.
you are mentioning about by 2140, the door will close. What do you mean by that?
So by 2040, sir.
2040, what do you mean by that?
So by that, since our life so by 2040, that we will reach the peak of our working age population, and after that, because we have already achieved total fertility rate below 2.1 in many of the states in our country, our population is actually in the decline, sir. And so
Are you sure?
by
Population is in the decline. Population
the
growth may be in the
absolute,
decline, but not population.
sir, yes, sir, growth is on the decline, sir. Absolute population is not on the decline,
Okay,
sir.
right.
Yes.
Tell me.
So by 2040, we will finish our peak of the working age population, and there will be a subsidence of the working age population from then on, sir.
There will be increase in number. Working age population.
I'm sorry, sir.
Working age population will be more.
Will be still more, sir, but it will start declining from 2040, sir. So we may not be able to achieve the kind of economic growth until 2040. There's a huge scope for it, but there will be a decline after 2040.
Who gave this projection 2040 as a cutoff?
So there are various reports like the United Nations population report and
Human Development Report, you have studied.
yes, sir.
United Nations Human Development Report. They give these
So-
statistics.
There is a population council also separately, so that does the population study every year.
Human Development Report gives every year.
Okay, sir.
Either. That's very useful. So
Sure.
that's very, just is only some 80 pages. Read that. When is your interview?
So September 3rd, sir.
You are excellent. I am sure you are going to do extremely well. Good. If you have anything you want clarification, you can get in touch with me or with any of us. Take my numbers from me. If you want to clarify anything.
Sure, sir.
Okay, we have finished.
Yes.
Over, Ramohan.
No, sir.
I think Vijaya not asked.
Vijaya Suralaya. Vijaya.
இல்ல ரெண்டு பேரும் மறந்து போச்சு.
Mama, Sripati and Vijay are still left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sripati I remember. Vijaya I didn't remember. Okay.
No, Mr. Sripati, you're finished? You're asked her?
No, I am not finished. So,
No,
ask. Okay, go ahead.
I found Swatika very good actually, you know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Like all girls did well in the Olympics. I think Swatika is doing very well today.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're rubbing it in, Vijaya.
Somebody asked, no, when is the men's Olympics going to start?
It's a discrimination.
Yeah, for your benefit, I will quote something which appeared sometime back. India was trying to protect girl children. Now, in Olympics, Indian girls are protecting India. This is the quote.
Right.
That's correct.
The match is a very crucial match. Let's hope we do well. Coming back to you, Swatika, I find you seem to be an artist by nature.
Yes, ma'am.
Pottery painting, Tanjo painting. Can you tell me, see, I like Tanjo paintings, but often I wonder whether what I'm buying, and they're very expensive, whether
Yes,
it's a fake one or a real one. How do I
Yes.
make out? Is there any mechanism by which?
Yes, ma'am.
How do I know that this is a genuine one? No, the gold foils all look the same. They glitter,
Yes, ma'am.
but all that glitters is not gold. So how would I know that?
Ma'am, from the consumer perspective, I'm not sure if that kind of technology has come to the common public, ma'am. But there is a innovation using Raman scattering effect, ma'am.
I read about it, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct, right. That's right. Good answer.
That is no, but but the customer will not be able to know.
Yes,
isn't it?
ma'am. For the yes, ma'am. Because this technology, it needs lab and other things. So general public may not be still able to use it, ma'am. We do not have any certification and standardization for it, ma'am. So I think Tanjo painting for now it is more on trust based.
You have to buy only from very reputed places.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That information.
Well, yeah, you should wait till Swatika takes over charge as a director of art or something in the government. She will produce the system.
For that. Warli painting also you are doing.
Yes, ma'am.
What is what is the meaning of Warli?
Ma'am, Barli is the name of a tribe, ma'am. They are located in Gujarat and Maharashtra, and they are considered as the descendants of the prehistoric people who were located in Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh, ma'am. And the painting that we see in the walls of Bhimbetka is considered as the predecessor of Warli painting as well, ma'am.
No, the word Warli, somebody told me it means a piece of land in that language. Is it so? Anyway,
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not aware of this. I'll surely read about it.
Bhimbetka paintings are nearly 1 lakh years older.
prehistoric
Cave paintings.
beautiful.
Yes, sir. Prehistoric paintings, sir.
Yeah, 1 lakh years that they say.
Okay,
painting.
sir.
You have opted for political science as a subject, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
You read The Prince by Machiavelli. You have read the book?
Yes, ma'am. I have not read the book, ma'am, but I've read about it.
Can you say something about it? How what exactly is the central theme of the book? Because Machiavellian is used in a very derogatory sense. He is very Machiavellian. What do you know about the book?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
I think all students of political science read about this book.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, The Prince by Machiavelli is basically a guide to the ruler on how the state should be governed from the perspective of Machiavelli. And Machiavelli is a realist political thinker who thinks that there should be a difference between ethical and morality, and there should be a difference between political morality. The ruler should not confuse between these two, and he should not judge his policies based on others' ethical code, but rather than on national interest, whether that will lead to protection of the nation. That has to be the ultimate guide.
So would you equate it to Kautilya's statecraft? I mean, is expounding on the theory of statecraft. Would you say that Chanakya and Machiavelli are almost similar in their theories?
Yes, ma'am. They are both realists, ma'am. In fact, our former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, he had said Kautilya as the Indian Machiavelli.
Indian Machiavelli.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's one. Okay, good.
I would say the other way.
Yes, sir. Even I felt since he is the predecessor, so I felt Machiavelli should be said as European Kautilya.
Exactly, yes.
And I think Machiavelli's book came in 16th century AD, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me something about this line of actual control. Where exactly is it located? Where it passes through?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, line of actual control is a line that separates Indian land, Indian controlled Kashmir, and the Chinese controlled territory within our country, that is within Kashmir, ma'am. And it is not a demarcated or a delineated boundary. It is more of a conceptual framework which the Chinese have stated since 1959, ma'am. But still, there is no clarification on both sides on what and where exactly the line is.
Does it pass through water also? This line of actual control.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, exactly at Pangang So, 1/3 of Pangang So is within our control, and Chinese claim the other 2/3.
Okay, you have answered that quite well. Can you tell me something about this farmers' agitation, which was in the news till recently?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it is.
Commercial laws about it, and why it caused so much agitation?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there were 3 farm acts that were introduced, mainly related to, I'm not able to recollect the exact names of the act, ma'am. Mainly it was related to the contract farming, more commercialization of agriculture, and secondly it was related to unification of agricultural marketing through enam and other schemes, and getting over the intermediaries in the mandis, traditional mandis. So this has been opposed by the conservative groups, that there are fears that the mandi mediators, they will lose their business. And it is also opposed because the MSP, there is a fear that since MSP is not statutory provision, there is a fear that the farmers who benefited most from MSP will lose out on that benefit, ma'am. And thirdly, it is also about contract farming. People fear that since there are smaller land holdings, they fear that they might lose out to the economically powerful corporates.
Good, Shwatika. I think you have answered almost all the
Excellent. Yeah. Every question she answered thoroughly. Very good.
Very well. Very well. Absolutely.
Excellent.
questions. Wear a sari, any comfortable sari for the interview. Okay? Your interview is in September 3rd, no?
Yes, ma'am.
You have plenty of time to practice wearing a sari.
Yes, ma'am.
And at that age, even I struggled to wear a sari.
Ma'am, last year my parents came along. My mom helped me in sari, ma'am,
Okay,
draping.
that's great. You better take your mom along.
But this year she's fearing to come because of COVID, ma'am. I'm going alone this year, ma'am. So I have to practice, like you said.
Yes, and nowadays you get stitched ones also.
Okay, ma'am.
Buy them ready-made ones for girls like you. So you don't have to struggle pleating the sari. Just try on a stitched one, which
Okay.
you're comfortable, because the interview, your body language is very important.
Okay, ma'am.
You're showing discomfort in your dress, it will reflect on the way you are speaking out. So
Yes, ma'am.
do well, and I'm sure we hope to see your name in the list.
Thanks.
We'll certainly see. Only thing this area only Vijaya can advise. None of other people cannot. Okay. What is your mother tongue?
The Tamil.
Tamil. Very good. You are good in Tamil?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now we will say, Sripati ji, you continue.
Yeah, I am very much here. See, very quick questions. Corruption, when Mr. Rudra Gangadharan was asking, you mentioned poverty is also one of the reasons. Okay. If poverty is a reason, you mentioned 2-3 others also.
Yes.
If poverty is a reason, why should a country, a very prosperous country like Italy, corruption is the way of life? Okay. You cannot say, nobody can say for that matter, America is a corruption-free country. No, it is not.
Yes, sir.
It's not a corruption-free country. Okay. Our tea is, it is made out. That is the way the Europeans always dub the Africans and Asians. They are poor, therefore they are corrupt, as though these people are great. Okay. They make money by swindling it from the Asian and African countries. Okay, that is one. So don't harp on that corruption, poverty is one of the reasons. Education, yes, that is the thing. Anyway, I will leave it there. So just for your information, I mentioned there. Then, Kongu Nadu, you are from Kongu Nadu. Recently, this Kongu Nadu hit the headlines. Isn't
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes, sir.
What is that for?
So there was a proposal by few political associations in this region about the formation of a union territory of this region, sir. But it's just in the proposal, sir. It is not any legal right.
Why do you say it is a proposal? Proposal means somebody from the government or somebody outside has given it, given a lot of thinking, a shape to include ABC cities or urban areas or rural areas, etc. So how do you say it's a proposal? Is it a thinking or a proposal? Has it reached that stage? What do you say that?
Sir, it is not the proposal by the government, sir. I think, I'm sorry, sir. I think the better word would be as a demand from certain political associations in the region, sir. And it is And as far as I know, it is not a collective voice of the people, sir. It is just few organizations.
Now, what is your take on it? Suppose, imagine, yes, Kongu Nadu is formed. What is your take on it? Would it be a good proposition? Would it be a bad proposition? What?
So, though there is a demand, I feel it won't be a feasible idea to form Kongu Nadu as a union territory, because I feel the people of Kongu Nadu, they have a larger Tamil identity and they do not see themselves separately from the Tamil culture, sir. Because Kongu Nadu's culture is a very ancient tradition, and since then there is a lot of uniformity and unity between the larger Tamil population. And secondly, I feel since it will be a very landlocked region, there might be a possibility of border disputes and water sharing problems for a for that region, sir. So I feel it would be better to continue with the current setup, sir.
Taking your logic, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Telangana is totally landlocked,
Yes.
depend upon Andhra for a very large number of items, but still they went ahead. Telangana and Rayalaseema, not Rayalaseema, Andhra and Rayalaseema. Okay, these regions, they are interdependent even today.
Yes.
Other dispute will be there so long as human beings exist, isn't it?
Yes.
Even if we have a border dispute, not border in that sense, but a compound wall. Okay, so this is just human tendency. So how do you say that this is going to be a retrograde step if Kongu Nadu is formed? No, don't think that I am favoring it. I am asking your view.
Yes, sir. So this is because, sir, I feel it would be a retrograde step because Kongu Nadu borders already it is bordering Kerala and Karnataka, and if it is formed as a union territory, then it will be Tamil Nadu as a neighboring state as well. So in that way, I feel for Telangana it was just a dependence on Andhra Pradesh, but here there would be already the problem of water sharing between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Then there is the Mullai Periyar issue between Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and an added problem of Kaveri water sharing that goes through Kongu Nadu to Tamil Nadu. So all these will only destabilize the economy of this place. And Kongu Nadu currently it is known for its economic prosperities. So getting involved in a lot of political issues will hamper the development of the region, sir.
Okay. No, what is your take on formation of so many districts? I think Tamil Nadu today has
32.
32, okay, 32 districts. You think it's the right move?
So I feel that there has to be certain framework on the formation of districts, sir. It should be based on certain criteria like increase in governance, increase in the reach of the people, and better administration. But it should not be on the basis of any political criteria, sir.
Politics is now in the blood of everybody today. So any decision is being taken based only on political reasons and not necessarily on economic or environmental considerations, isn't it?
Yes.
So that being the case, well, yes, there have to be some criterion which doesn't exist today. So somebody likes to have a taluk as a district, it is announced for political reasons or caste reasons or some. That is always, then the larger question will be like Jharkhand and Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. They are living in harmony. I am only getting back to your own theory. They are living in harmony today. So why should Kongu Nadu and Tamil Nadu cannot exist together?
Sir, maybe in the larger, if there is a demand from the people itself, and if there is a political consensus between people that it would be better, then it's fine, sir. But I do not think the people itself are interested in the formation, sir.
I only provoked you, just wanted to find out how you would react. So
Yes, sir.
that somebody is interested in creating a Kongu Nadu district, state or some such thing.
Yes, sir.
So in the interview, there's a possibility of just provoking you to get your view.
Okay.
So it's really resourcefulness which matters, not necessarily your depth of knowledge in certain aspects. Kongu Nadu is not your aspect. But you have written that you write a lot about Kongu history and this and that, isn't it? So that's the reason. But in Tamil, if there is somebody sitting there in the panel, there is one saying, Engeri Paindalum, Kongeri Payamatten. Have you heard that?
No, sir, I haven't heard.
Okay, this is said about Kaveri.
Okay, sir.
Okay, the reason being, I'll also tell, suppose somebody asks, it may not come up at all. The Kaveri and the Kongu Nadu is slightly on the higher side. No?
Okay.
So it's indirectly telling that the Kongu basin is on a higher level than the Kaveri basin.
Okay.
And therefore they say, Paindalum Kongeri Payamatte. That is the kind of thing said about Kaveri. Anyway, your confidence level is quite high. You began with little diffidence. Now you are quite confident with all your responses, this and that.
Very good.
Quite sure that you will make it. Quite sure. Not just you get it. Not that way. Quite sure. So wish you all the best. Would like to see your name in the.
Thank you. Excellent. You handled all the questions very well.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes, absolutely.
One of the best performance I have seen.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Great.
Thank you so much, sir.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Ritika, what adventure sports you play? I mean, you have shown adventure sports. What kind of
Yes.
what are they?
Ma'am, I have done certain adventure sports like skydiving, parasailing, then kayaking, trekking, ma'am.
Where?
Mm.
In Coimbatore or outside somewhere?
Ma'am, I got an opportunity for an on-site in the US, ma'am. So at that time, skydiving is very popular in the US, ma'am. So I tried out there.
Done it in the US.
Yes, ma'am. But parasailing, trekking, I have done in India, ma'am. Parasailing mainly in Karwar.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're a brave girl. All the
No,
best.
which place you said?
Karwar, sir. It is in Karnataka, northern
Yeah,
Karnataka.
Karwar. I know.
Pratika, just one point
Yes, sir.
related to what Mr. Vijay told you.
Yes.
Now, if you have written things like adventure sports, then they should not get the impression that it was a one-shot affair. You know, you went up
Yes.
parasailing once, you went kayaking once, and on the basis of that, you're writing all this.
Yes, sir.
They should, if you have done it a number of times, then that should come out clearly.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
And just as you spoke with so much information about other areas,
Yes.
you should know enough about these things so that they get the feeling, yes, you know
Yes.
what you're talking about.
Okay, sir.
Lots of people write things that they think will carry conviction with the board,
Yes,
not
sir.
understanding that the board will ask questions about things like this. You know, and there may not be many people who say that that their hobbies include adventure sports. So if they see this, they'll be interested. And they may ask you a lot of questions about adventure sports. Okay, keep that in
Okay.
mind.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
All
Sure,
the best.
sir,
You?
absolutely.
Okay.
Sir, I have one question related to corruption, sir. Like Sir's mentioned, sir, even I feel that poverty and lack of education is not the reason, sir. I strongly believe in Kautilya's philosophy that just like a fish is in water, it doesn't. We never know when it drinks. Just like that, human mindset is that there is an interest towards corruption and anything that is. But I strongly believe in that, sir. But can I say that, sir?
Well, why not? That is your view. See, your view may not be accepted. But does
What
not
is your view?
mean that you are wrong. You can say that. In you are at liberty to say many things, so long as it is not absurd. Okay.
Okay.
This
For instance, the Kautilya Arthasastra, there are a chapter on corruption.
Yes.
Kautilya lists out 42 different ways through which a government officer can become corrupt.
Yes.
42 ways.
Okay, sir.
I think
That is
we
the-
must have added to the list thereafter.
Yes.
Modern India must have added to that list.
On that. And a very prosperous country like Japan, 3 prime ministers in the past have resigned on corruption charges.
Yes, sir.
So there's no clear-cut distinction, poor or rich. It all depends on the corruption level in the mind. How mind is corrupted. Yes.
mental
Pratika, one point you should remember.
Yes.
Pratika,
Yes, sir.
one point you should understand is there is a qualitative difference between corruption practiced in India and say in Europe or USA.
Okay.
Now here for any and everything, you're expected to pay money. You know, it's just a certificate, your a caste certificate, age certificate,
I think
something
it's
like
level.
that. It's an extremely low level of corruption. Okay.
Okay.
So whereas in many countries, all these things are available without any kind of hassle whatsoever. It is
Okay.
only higher levels of corruption that are practiced. Okay.
Oh, okay,
So
sir.
it is not as though everybody in that country is suffering from the heel of poverty being crushed on it. The bulk of you people may have absolutely no connection. I mean, you need your high school certificate, you just apply and you get it. You need a birth certificate, you get it, and so on and so forth. In most of these things, you have absolutely no problem. It is taken as a matter of right. But in this country, unfortunately, we have reached a stage where even basic documents are available only at a price.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes,
that
sir.
is the qualitative difference. You should keep that in mind also.
Sure, sir. I'll remember this. Sir. I will
Okay.
quote this in.
And there the amounts will be in thousands and lakhs of crores. Here, even for 20, 25 rupees or 50 rupees or 100 rupees, the fellow may be willing to pay just to
Yes.
get that certificate, because there is no other way. Okay,
Okay,
which
sir.
again is a commentary on the level of, on the depth of poverty in this country.
Yes, sir. Sure,
Okay,
sir. I
all
will
right.
take it.
All the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank
Very
you,
good.
sir.
All
Thank
the
you.
best.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I have another question, sir.
Go
So
ahead.
one thing is, in the UPSC interview, they say it's more of personality than knowledge, sir, and it is based on our, I mean, how we behave, sir. But with current interview, I'm hearing that we should wear the mask all the time and not remove it. And how will it be judged from now?
Now, can I react to that? I happened to run into the sub-collector, just been posted, just posted in the flight. So, Deepana Vishweshwar.
Okay.
So first,
Yes, sir. Yes.
okay.
2018, I guess. Sir.
Yes, you are right. Yes, that is the person. I happened to run into her. So she was telling everything was online. They have even missed Bharat Darshan. So Bharat
Yes.
Darshan jokingly asked, Bharat Darshan you did online. Is that correct? So, well, yes, if you are going to be called personally to the interview, according to her, you have to cover your face with the mask. The person
Mask.
removing it does not arise. Okay. But that covering the face with a mask is just one aspect. Like, how do you enter the room with walking with a lot of confidence, or walking with just being a casual, casual visitor? So you have to be a little careful. The body language is very important.
Okay.
Okay. So that is a saying, so which adai does not mean only the dress,
Yes,
the entire demeanor, put it that way. So,
okay.
it doesn't affect in any way.
Okay, sir.
Suppose you feel a little different. I asked her, suppose you feel a little different, sir, like you are not heard. See, sometimes the voice becomes muffled.
Yes, sir.
So at that time, you can make a request. Can I take the mask off? I can sit a little back.
Back. Okay, sir.
Will not be mistaken. This is what I heard from her just 10 days back.
Okay, sir.
Just 10 days back. She
Okay.
interviewed this and that, got it. Anyway, that is it.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. I will try
I
that.
think that's a very useful tip, Sripati.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome. All the best. God bless.
Thank
All the
you.
God
best.
bless you. Excellent.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I'll
You
leave.
can,
Oh,
you can
sure.
do. Thank you.
Excellent.